Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we will be discussing O levels physics P1, May June 2023, variant 1-2. The code for O levels physics is 5054. This paper is of 1 hour and it consists of 40 MCQs. Each MCQs have 4 possible answers and you have to choose the correct one and record your answer on a multiple choice answer sheet that would be given to you using a soft pencil. This paper is of 40 marks. Question number 1. In an experiment, a ball is rolled down a curved track that is about half a meter long. So the track is about half a meter long, means 0.5 meter. It is given here. Which measuring device is used to measure the length accurately? So half a meter long track and it is curved. So to measure the length accurately, you will use a meter tape. A tape me a tape measure. Option D is correct for question number 1. Question number 2. Which row describes acceleration, displacement, distance, and speed? Acceleration, let's start from the first column. Acceleration, it is a vector. So cancel out the scalar one option, the option with scalar. Then displacement. Displacement is also a vector. So option D is correct for question number 2. Question number 3. What is the size of the resultant of the two forces? So two forces are given 3 Newton, 4 Newton, and you have to find the resultant. You can find the resultant using the Pythagoras theorem and the head to tail rule. Let me tell you the head to tail rule first. What you have to do is to connect the tail of the resultant vector with the head of 3 and then this here. So the resultant vector would be like this and the direction would be this one. Using the Pythagoras theorem, you can easily calculate this. It would be hypotenuse. This is the hypotenuse equals to 3 square plus 4 square, 9 square, 3 square is 9 plus 4 square is 16, radical, total 25, radical, and its answer would be 5. So the correct option is C for question number 3. Question number 4. The curved line on the distance time graph shows the motion of a toy car. The straight line is the tangent to the curve at 10 seconds. Okay, this is the straight line, this is graph, and you have to find the speed of the toy car at 10 seconds. At 10 seconds, see, a tangent is given. So you know when a tangent is given. So whatever you have to find, you have to find it using gradient. The formula for gradient is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So take any 2 points on the tangent. The tangent is already drawn at 10. The first point I took is 10,6 and second point I'm taking is this one 0, 0, 3. Okay. Now let's put this value. Consider anyone x1, anyone y2. For example, like 3 minus 6 minus 3 divided by 10 minus 0. So 3 divided by 10 and answer is 0.3. Let's look at the option. Yes, 0.3 is in option A. So option A is correct for question number 4. Question number 5 says the diagram shows 4 balances X, Y, W, X, Y, and Z. These are 4 balances shown in the diagram. The scale of all the balances are celebrated on the earth are to measure mass, which balance also measure mass correctly when used on moon. So the balance, two of these balance will measure mass on the moon, and this will happen because the gravitational field, because of the two masses, the gravitational field will be cancelled out. Okay. So in Y, there are two forces acting two forces acting, two gravitational field. Two gravitational fields, so both of these gravitational field would be cancelled out and the mass can be easily measured on moon. Y is the correct one. Then Z. Let's see Z. Two forces again. Gravitational field will be cancelled out and Z is also the correct option. So let's look into the options. In option D, Z and Y both are present. So option D is correct for question number 5. Question number 6 is spacecraft carries a probe to Mars where the gravitational field strength is 3.7. The weight of the probe on the Mars is 370 newtons. The gravitational field on the Earth is 9.8. What is the mass and the weight of the probe on the Earth? So firstly, to calculate the mass, what you have to do that weight equals to mass, gravitational field. Calculate the mass part. First, the weight is given 370. Gravitational field on Mars is given 3.7. 3.71 za 10 za. So the mass would be 100. Then now the mass is 100 into the Earth gravitational field is given 9.8. So the weight would be 980. Correct option for 6 is B. Question 7. A student determines the density of a liquid. Which equipment does the student uses? Okay. A balance and a rule. No need of a ruler. A balance and a measuring cylinder. Yes. Option B is correct for question number 7. Question number 8. Newton's third law describes a pair of forces. Which row shows whether two forces are of same type and whether they act on the same object? Okay. The three things you need to remember about the Newton third law is that number 1, the forces are equal. Number 2, they are opposite and they act on different object. Number 1, the forces are opposite, they are equal, and they act on different object. So these three things you need to remember for Newton's third law. Okay, now types of the forces in the pair and the object on which the forces are. So the type of the forces, as I told you, that the forces should be equal. The forces should be equal. Type of forces should be same. Two options C and D. But they should act. The object on which they act should be different. Act should be different. So option C is correct for question number. Question number 9. The stopping distance of a car is the sum of the thinking distance and the braking distance. Factors that affect the braking distance. Speed of car, yes, it affects the braking distance. Tiredness of driver, no, it doesn't affect the braking distance. Condition of road, yes, this affects the braking distance. So the correct option for question number 9 is C. This is question number 10 and it shows a load extension graph of a spring. Okay, which point limit of proportionality of the spring and what is the spring constant of the spring equal to? Okay. So the limit of proportionality is on point Q. Cut out the C and D options. Then the spring constant is equal to P and Q, the gradient of P and Q. Option A is correct for question number 10. Okay, now let's move towards question number 11. A uniform beam is pivoted at its midpoint. An object weighing 40 Newton is placed on the beam 20 centimeter to the left as the pivot is shown. This is this is the object of 40 Newton and 20 centimeter away from the pivot. This is the pivot. So which force and the position balances the system? First option is A, 20 Newton acting downwards, 40 centimeter to the right of the pivot. So this is the right side of the pivot. So 40 into 20 gives 800. However, what if we put here 40 into 20? It will also give 800. So option A is correct, that this 20 Newton force of from 40 centimeter to the right of the pivot will balance the system. Question number 12. A worker pulls a rope with the force P. The force is P through the distance D. The distance is D in the direction of the force. As shown, the diagram is given here. This causes a block of the weight W. Weight is W to move vertically upwards to the height H. Okay, how much the work done by the worker? So work done, the formula for the work done is work done equals to force into direction, the direction, the force, the distance in the direction of force. So it would be P, which is the force, into the distance in the direction of force, which is D, into T. Correct option is PD, which is B. Option for question number 12 is correct. Then question number 13, a battery is connected to a circuit to light a lamp. What is the energy stored in a battery? So as we all know that chemical energy is stored in the battery, so option A is correct for question number 13. Question number 14, what is the property of the liquid and both liquid and gases? They can always fill their containers? No. They are they are incompressible? No. They can flow? Yes. So option C is correct for question number 14. Question number 15, an experiment. In an experiment, the volume of gas in the cylinder is measured as the pressure of the gas is increased. The pressure of the gas is increased. The obtained value are shown. This is the graph that shows the obtained values. Pressure of the gas is increasing and the volume is measured as the pressure of the gas increases. What is the possible explanation of these results? After the pressure is doubled, gas starts leaking into the cylinder? No. Then option B is after the pressure is doubled, gas starts leaking out of the cylinder? Yes. So option B is correct for question number 15. Question number 16 is regarding thermal expansion. The diagram shows some example of thermal expansion, P, Q, and R. In P, the expansion of the liquid in a thermometer. In Q, the expansion of a tight lid on a glass container. Okay, so option P and Q are correct. In Q, the hair dryer makes the lid an airtight container. So due to this, the both options are correct. However, in option R, these metal expansion of long metal beams support on roof makes the metal beams loose. So option B is correct for question number 16. Question number 17, which statement about the copper explain why it is a better thermal conductor than a glass? Okay, atomic vibration is passed on through the neighboring copper atom slowly? No. Atom move through the copper and pass on the kinetic energy? No. The density are there are the there are density changes within copper? No. Correct option is option D, that the metals, which one of them is copper. In the question is asked that they have free electrons, so they are the better conductor than glass. Question number 18 is that which statement describes describes the transfer of thermal energy in the liquid by convection? So as we all know that in convection the heated liquid rises. Let's read out the option. The decrease in its density caused the heated liquid rise. Yes, option A is correct for question number 18. Question number 19. Which characteristics describe the image formed on a vertical plane mirror? Example, this is a vertical plane mirror. describes the image form, characteristics of the image form. So you know that the characteristics of vertical plane mirror are virtual and upright. A ray of light passes into a block of transparent material as shown. What is the refractive index of the transparent material? So in this you have to find the refractive index. The formula to find the refractive index is refractive index equals to sine I divided by sine R. Sine I. Okay. Many of the students would be thinking that sine I would be this 35. No, it isn't. Firstly, we will draw a normal here to find the angle of incidence. So this is a normal 90 degree to the surface. Now we will subtract this 90 minus 35. So it will give 55. Sine 55 divided by sine R. Then again this is the normal 90 degree. 90 minus 60 gives 30. Sine R is 30. Sine R 30 sine. Now let's put it into the calculator to calculate the refractive index. Sine 55 divided by sine 30. It gives answer 1.63. It gives answer 1.639. 638. 8 is greater than 5. We will round it off. It will be 1.64. Or you can simply say check that the nearest answer to this is 1.64. Option C is correct for question number 20. Question number 21. The diagram shows the light incident on the straight edge of a semicircular glass block after passing through it. Which diagram shows the refraction and an angle of incidence that is equal to critical angle? When angle of incidence equals to critical angle, so the refracted angle is 90 degree. Diagram C shows that the angle of incidence equals to critical angle. Question number 22. Which radioactive isotope can be used to measure cracks or flaws in the metal components? Okay, firstly, the alpha can easily be stopped. So cut out the alpha options. Option C and option A are wrong. Then we have gamma. We will use the gamma emitter that have more half-life. So the correct option for this question is B. As B option have the gamma ray in B option have half-life of 5 years. Question number 23. Ultrasound is a type of sound wave that is not audible to human healthy ear. Which range of frequency contains only ultrasound? So ultrasound is greater than 20,000 hertz. Option E is correct. It contains the range which is greater than 20,000. It's 30,000 to 30 megahertz. Question number 24. What proves that a metal bar is a permanent magnet? To prove that a metal bar is a permanent magnet, what you have to remember is that it repels one end of another magnet. So it is proved that it is a permanent magnet. Option D is correct for question number 24. Question number 25. The diagram shows a bar magnet and 4 labeled arrows. Which arrow shows the direction of the metallic magnetic field at the point where the row is shown? We know that the magnetic field from north to south goes from north to south, north to south. So which diagram shows the correct direction? It will go from north to south, it will go from this side, and it will go from this side. Correct option is D for question number 25. Question 26. A shoe becomes positively charged by friction when it rubs against a carpet. What happens as the shoe becomes charged? Okay. As the shoe becomes charged, negative electrons are transferred to the carpet. The correct option is A. How? Because the shoe becomes positively charged by the friction as it rubs around against the carpet. So the shoe would be having positive and negative both electrons. So it will give negative electrons to the carpet and will become positively charged. Question number 27. A metal conductor is connected with the positive and negative terminals of a battery, which row give the direction of the movement of particles that flow in the conductor and their name. Okay. A metallic conductor is connected to the positive and negative terminal of battery, and which part movement of particles that flow in the conductor. The particles that flow in the conductor are electrons. We have two options for electrons, B and D. Electrons move from negative to positive terminal. The correct option is C. Oh, D for question number 27. From negative to terminal to positive terminals, electrons. Question number 28. Three identical cells are connected in parallel to a resistor. What is the advantage of using three cells in parallel rather than using one single cell? Okay, as we all know that the cells will take longer to discharge. This is one of the advantage. According to this advantage, option C is correct that each cell takes longer time to get discharged. So using three cells in parallel isn't a good option. The better option is using a single cell. Student has three 15 ohms resistor. She connects the resistor together in different arrangements. What is the minimum resistance and the maximum resistance that the student can produce? You have to calculate the minimum and the maximum resistance. Now, to calculate the minimum and the maximum resistance, you have to remember one thing, which is that to calculate the maximum resistance, attach the three resistors of 15 ohms in series. 15 plus 15 plus 15 gives 45 ohms maximum resistance. Then in parallel, it gives 5 ohms. So the correct option for question number 29 is B. Here is a question of potential divider. The circuit show a variable resistor R connected to a parallel to the lower section of the potential divider. This is the diagram shown. The resistance R increases. This resistance R increases. So, as we know that resistance is directly proportional to voltage. So when, for example, this is R2, when R2 increases, so V2 also increases. But when the potential dividers are connected and V2 increases, so the V1 decreases. R2 increases, V2 increases, while V1 decreases. Let's look into the options. V2 increases, V1 decreases. Option D is correct for question 30. Question 31. The power consumption of a oven microwave oven is 15 watts. The cost is 1.0 kilowatts hour of an electrical. The cost of the 1.0 kilowatts hour of an electrical energy is 24 cents. What is the cost of using the microwave over 10 minutes? Okay, firstly, what you have to do is to convert the 10 minutes into hours. 10 divided by 60 gives 1 upon 6 hours. Then what you have to do is to convert this watt into kilowatt. For this you have to 500 divided by 1000 gives 1.5 kilowatts, and the time is 1 upon 6 hours. Now what you have to do is to just simply Multiply this 1.5 with 1 upon 6 and you got answer 2.0.25 kilowatt hour. Once you have converted this, you have done the conversion and make the value in kilowatt hours. You simply have to multiply this 24 into 0.25. Let me calculate it. Answer is 6 cents, which is option A. Question number 32. A coil of wire above a magnet is dropped. You can see the diagram. As the coil falls over the magnet, an EMF is induced across the coil. Okay, what does not affect the magnitude of the EMF induced across the coil? Okay, let's read out the options. Option A says the changing in the number of turns in the wire in the coil. Yes, it affects the EMF. Then changing the height. No. Changing the direction of the magnet so the north pole is at the bottom. This doesn't affect the magnitude of the EMF induced across the coil. So option C is correct for question number 32. Direction of the magnitude isn't affected by the changing of the poles of the magnet. The results of alpha particles scattering experiment give evidence for which of the following: nuclear fission, radioactive decay, existence of isotopes or the size of the nucleus. So the correct answer is size of nucleus. This is one of the things that you have to simply memorize. So you can easily do the MCQs. What if if the question of such topic comes in the question in the exam? Question 34. A nucleus of an isotope of cobalt is represented by the symbol CO. What is the composition of the nucleus? Number of protons, 27. Number of neutrons, what you simply have to do is to subtract 59 minus 27 gives 32. Option A is correct for question number 34. Question 35. The only stable isotope of gold, Au, has proton 79 proton and 118 means 118 neutrons in a nucleus of an atom. How many electrons are in a neutral atom? In a neutral atom, the number of protons equals to number of electrons. Option B is correct for question number 35. Question number 36. A sample of radioactive isotope with a very long half-life is placed next to a detector. Sheets of different material are inserted at one time between the radioactive sample and the detector. Okay. The background count rate is subtracted from the reading on the detector and the correct count rates are recorded in the table. No sheet inserted. The count rate remains 440. When the aluminum sheet is inserted, the count rate decreases. When the count rate decreases, the count rate decreases due to the thin aluminum sheet means the beta particles are present, and a thin lead sheet is inserted. Count rate also decreases means the gamma particles are present. A thin paper sheet count rate doesn't decreases means that alpha is not present. Not present, while beta and gamma are present. So the correct option for the question 36 is C. Beta particles and gamma radiations are only present. Question 37. A fusion reactor which particle causes uranium 235 nucleus to split. Okay. So neutron. Neutron causes the uranium-235 nucleus to split. Question 38. What is the purpose of moderator in the nuclear reactor? So the purpose of moderator in the nuclear reactor is to slow down the neutron in the order to continue the chain reaction. Option D is correct for question number 38. Question number 39. In which region of the electromagnetic spectrum does the sun radiate the most energy? It is infrared region. Option is correct for question number 39. Last question of this paper, question number 40. Four of the stages in the life cycle of star until it becomes a red giant are shown: W, X, Y, Z. In which order does the stages occurs? Starting with the smallest, with starting with the earliest. WWXX. Let's read out W and X first. Inward force of gravitational attraction is balanced by an outward force of its center. No, this isn't the first one. The internal gravitational collapse produce an increase in temperature. If this is the first stage, then W1 is the second stage. Let's read out the third one. It expands, or most of the hydrogen has been converted into helium. So most of the hydrogen converts into helium, then it expands. So option D is correct for question number 40. So this was all about the paper of May June 2023 P12. I hope you understood it. Thank you.